Perek Lo Yachpor, Daf Chaf Aleph, sponsored Lili Nishmas Shalom ben Yoshua. The Mishnah discusses zoning laws. Number one can prevent a resident of his courtyard opening a store, claiming noise from customers disturbs his sleep. Number two, one cannot prevent a resident of his courtyard from opening a workshop to manufacture items sold in the market or allowing noisy children, claiming the noise disturbs his sleep. The Gemara wonders why the noise of adult customers prohibited in the first ruling does not apply to children permitted in the second ruling. Abaye answers the second ruling concerns protests from a neighboring courtyard. Rava answers the second ruling refers to cheder children from the time of Rabbi Yeshua ben Gamliel's enactment to provide education to fatherless children. The residents of a courtyard cannot prevent setting up a cheder. They can, however, prevent the headmaster of all the chadarim in that town from setting up headquarters in a courtyard to appoint rebbis and educate them. The noise is excessive. Similarly, a resident could prevent a Gentile school or Jewish children taught secular subjects from opening in a courtyard. Initially, he instituted setting up schools in Yerushalayim. However, it did not suffice for orphans who could not travel without a father. The next stage established schools in every province for boys 16 or 17 years old. They were too old to discipline, so they reduced the age to 6 and establishing schools in every town. The Gemara gives examples of teaching method, hiring, firing, and 2 forms of discipline. Number 1, their teaching method was to force down as much Torah as possible, similar to the way an ox is fed to fatten. Number 2, Rava holds a Rebbe with a faster pace is preferable to one slower, more exacting. Mistakes can be corrected later. Rav Dimi holds once a mistake sets in, it cannot be corrected. Yoav, David HaMelech's general, killed only male Amalekites, taught in the verse, Timcha ezchar Amalek, rather than Zecher Amalek. The males rather than the memory of Amalek. According to some, such a grave consequence cost the Rebbe his life. Number 3, Rava holds a Rebbe should not be fired to hire a better one. The new Rebbe would become careless, thinking he will never be fired. Rav Dimi disagrees. He holds the new Rebbe fears his reputation being questioned by the old Rebbe. Number 4, Rava holds a principle of a cheder can fire a cheder Rebbe who makes a mistake without a warning, since the loss is irreversible, namely the time lost teaching the child improperly. This rule applies to shochtim, a scribe, a bloodletter, and a sharecropper working in a vineyard. Number 5, the Rebbes could hit the children only with a shoelace. One who was lazy remained in his class, hopefully influenced to learn by his friends. Businesses that are masigivul, imposing on a resident's livelihood, cannot be set up in the same place. Rav Huna holds one who set up a commercial mill can prevent a resident of the same mavui from doing so. The Gemara distinguishes this from fish nets. Although a fisherman can prevent others from placing nets near a lair, he discovered it is because it is as if he acquired it. The fish bait he placed will certainly catch that fish. Patronage to one business has to be declared by the customer. It is also not similar to the Rabbanan who permit a store owner, one of 2 stores established simultaneously, to pass out treats to children shopping in his store so they will return because his competitor can do the same. However, one who established the first business can claim to a new owner in his mavui, do not jeopardize my livelihood. This is the opinion of Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel. Tanakama holds the resident of a mavui can prevent only residents from another town renting to an outsider opening locally, anywhere in his town, unless he pays local taxes. However, he cannot prevent his neighbor. The Gemara is uncertain if that includes even a town resident from another mavui. An exception is a cheder Rebbe from another town. He can set up another cheder in that mavui. Ezra enacted setting up even one next to another. The Gemara discusses the rules of transportation. Number 1, it is prohibited to transport a child from one town to another. According to some commentators, the locals must set up a cheder even for one student. Number 2, it is permitted to transport him to a more distant Beis HaKnesses in the same town unless there is a river separating the two districts. If there is a wide bridge connecting the two districts, he can be transported by way of the bridge, but not by way of a narrow plank. The Gemara now discusses the teacher-student ratio. The Gemara requires one teacher for every 25 students. Any more requires an assistant until 40 students. Another Rebbe must be hired instead of the assistant until 50 students when another assistant is hired. If you're enjoying Daf 5, please click on the link below, become a sponsor, and subscribe. Thank you.